Hello, and welcome to another non sequitur time machine episode. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the sentient AI.
Good evening, hometown citizens. Welcome to Non Sequitur News.
Today is July 29th, 2024. It's season 3, episode 211. Today we're going to be talking about reducing salmonella and me wiping my mouth. AI to elevate fake lawyering, infecting Virginia wildlife. The highest paid Olympians, mass discovery of ancient Egyptian tombs. Great news for tigers. U.S. art fair nearly sells out without money. Passenger sues JetBlue. SoCalGas suddenly shuts down areas. And forget what it means to hike with these pants. That and more. Thought I was going to fix a problem, but I did not fix it. That's okay. One more time, I am Mayor Watt, and that is the sentient AI. Today, we've got all 10 of our articles lined up, and today is a time machine episode. Again, why am I saying this? Well, if you go over to ohmtown.com, you can actually type in the year here, the month, and the day, and it will pull you into our time machine, shoot you back in time. Can't go forward, but you can go back. And then from there, you can read the articles, make little comments, all of that kind of stuff. And on the inside, it becomes part of news feed, feeds basically. Other people can, and y'all can just kind of hang out and have a discussion. It's a whole social network inside. That said, there's also a Discord, there is a Patreon, there's a YouTube channel. These videos we're only streaming over to Twitch right now. I will move it all over to YouTube as soon as humanly possible. But until then, let's get into today's articles. And let's see if this thing glitches again. The time machine did this weird, like offset kind of a thing
Time
with the
space
display.
folding, right?
It is, yeah, copy degradation, I suppose, or the temporal shear. Let's get into it. First article's over in Non Sequitur News. What is going on? How come the stream isn't streaming over on Twitch? I mean, it is, but it said it wasn't. Anyway. So, what to know about new USDA policy aimed to reduce salmonella in raw poultry? So,
We should be cheering, probably.
yeah, see, there's been these problems with the fact that there's been delay in investigating and quantifying and qualifying food safety here in the United States. Something like 1% of shrimp, for instance, is actually checked, and it has apparently extraordinary levels of contaminants. So what to know about the salmonella reduction effort? So the agency's food safety arm proposed new testing mandates and a requirement that all poultry companies restrict salmonella levels to under a specified threshold. We've tried that already with
How about, I don't know, 0?
methane. Yeah, that didn't work. We'll end up talking about it at some point, but some 8 times the agreed upon level. Why? It's because when an industry investigates itself, it finds itself guilty of no wrongdoing and thus meeting the requirements. So, no, we need oversight. So, the article's over at abcnews.go.com. Kelly McCarthy from Good Morning America, apparently, put the article together. The agency's food safety arm proposed new testing mandates, among other things. What is going on with ARC? Very frustrating. Anyway, after 3 years of reevaluating a strategy for controlling salmonella rates in poultry, the USDA's Food and Safety Inspection Service announced a new proposal on Monday, this is last week, that would require poultry companies to keep salmonella levels below a certain threshold and ensure that they test for 6 specific forms of bacteria in raw chicken and turkey.
I kind of want to know how many total there are, but I kind of don't.
Man, we do not want to open that Pandora's box, do we? I would put show notes into the stream and whatnot, but I'm just going to encourage you for these shows. They're not in the bot, and you'll be able to download them. I'm putting them in the Twitch show notes, just the list, and I'm putting them in the YouTube show notes. All of the links and the rest of the stuff is going to be over there. But normally you can hit the name of the show, so NSN, for non sequitur news or show notes, and you'd be able to pull it out. But the problem is that because we're in a time machine, these notes, the notes that you would actually be able to pull from the bot, wouldn't be appropriate. And then if you want the podcast form of this, which will have the show notes for this specific episode or each episode that you decide to, you can hit !podcast or pod is what it actually should be, !pod, and that'll pull up all 7 of our podcasts, like Non Sequitur News, Reality Hacker, The Continuity Report, Wanted, Warcrafters, Technology Today, and Four Wheel Tech, which is what we would normally be doing today, but because I was at a conference all week and unable to do the show, we're playing catch up today. Hopefully getting more than 5 of these done. I guess I'll be doing this into the wee morning. Anyway, what are we going to do to stop? So, citing the Poultry Products Inspection Act, the FSIS, said that this rule would establish final product standards based on the salmonella levels and serotypes and prevent adulterated raw chicken and turkey products from entering the retail supply. I don't like the phrase adulterated raw chicken and turkey, but
No, it's not exactly. It's a good diet mechanism to hear that term.
I've gone vegetarian. So FSIS has also proposed revisions to regulations that would require all poultry slaughter establishments to develop a microbial monitoring program to prevent pathogen contamination throughout the slaughter system. The proposed framework is grounded in data and rigorous scientific evaluation, and it reflects feedback from extensive stakeholder engagement. We encourage all interested stakeholders to submit comments and relevant data on the proposal as we work to finalize data-driven, science-based regulatory policies to address salmonella in poultry. Well, done. Solved.
I mean, there we go. As long as they set the threshold low enough and it covers enough of the commonly occurring bacteria.
It'll still be ignored and we'll get unsafe food. Let's keep moving. The next article's over in Law Nerd, harnessing the power of AI to elevate fake lawyering, a new wrinkle in the lawyers misusing ChatGPT story. The article is over at Above the Law. I think it came from somewhere else, but Joe Patrice put the article together for Above the Law. A new wrinkle in the lawyers misusing ChatGPT story. You've already heard that artificial intelligence promises to revolutionize the law. AI-empowered attorneys can leverage the versatility of cutting-edge large language models to supercharge their practice efficiently and effectively, driving client success with dedicated industry-leading AI solutions. It's being very marketing.
Yes, that's kind of what it sounds like. But I have a feeling there's going to be a twist.
There's always a but. Sometimes it's a big but. Think there's going to be a big but here?
Yes.
So South Carolina,
I can guarantee it.
But did you also know that AI has the power to revolutionize the unauthorized practice of law? South Carolina authorities say Nathan Chambers has practiced law of the unauthorized variety, representing clients while using the name of his actual attorney dad. According to the Post and Courier.
Oh, so a non-attorney.
Yeah, that's how it works. You use AI, you're an attorney. The younger Chambers LinkedIn explained that he knows how to litigate, attended UC Berkeley, and has a passion for the law. And while all 3 claims can be technically accurate, though they probably aren't, Berkeley has no record of him even as an undergrad. The impression they leave of a Berkeley Law School trained litigator is less accurate. So,
Do you think a real attorney would say, I know how to litigate?
yes, there's a wrinkle. While we have heard of all lawyers, while we've all heard of lawyers, not the other way around, misusing AI in their practice, Chambers might have used the tool to elevate his unauthorized practice. There's a little quote here. In keeping up this charade, Chambers had to file legal documents for the clients he was working with. One of these crossed the desk of Judge Danny Singleton, who said in a contempt hearing this week that he found that the wording of the document suggested Chambers might have used AI to write it. It's unclear what the wording was that triggered it. It might have been delve.
Oh, I bet it was. I mean, we had a separate article on that.
Quote, I've never meant to cause the court any trouble, Chambers said per the Post. Quote, as I've watched my father and sister throughout my entire life practice law and watched my life go down the drain, I kind of lost my mind a little bit. Wow. Poor
You
kid.
know, if you wanted to be an attorney so badly, maybe
Go
go
to,
through the steps.
yeah. So, in all seriousness, credit Chambers for trying to use a professional legal AI tool, actually, a Lexis Plus AI account. Wow.
I mean, at
Well,
least it wasn't like Chat GPT for dummies or something.
yeah, Chat GPT for lawyers, which is basically that, I'm sure. So, in all seriousness, credit Chambers for, I don't know. The problem here is that they'll never be able to be an attorney unless some serious money is thrown around now. Yeah,
Right, because they've basically shown that they can't do what's required to get admitted.
correct. Yeah, they apparently cannot find the compass that guides uh, ethical practice of law. Sorry, I was trying to fix something because there's something, I don't know. Whatever happened, yeah, I'll focus. Sorry. So it says, but not on the alleged fake lawyering count. He's serving 60 days on this contempt and still faces charges for impersonating a lawyer. Yikes. This person will never be an attorney. Yep. Bummer. Let's keep going. According to this study, hikers are infecting Virginia wildlife with COVID-19. And by wildlife, I suspect animals. Not
Right, what do you mean? Like not plants or something?
people. I mean, anyway, so 6 common wildlife species in Virginia have high rates of the virus that causes COVID-19. Stop kissing raccoons and groundhogs, folks. Don't go and hug Virginia possums or opossums. And definitely don't hang out with deer mice. Oh, God, they are horrible cheaters in cards. Anyway, the virus has been found in deer mice, Virginia possums, raccoons, groundhogs, eastern cottontails, and eastern red bats. Never, never kiss a eastern red bat. I'll never do that again. Anyway, stop doing that stuff, Virginians or hikers therein.
This
Anyway,
is fascinating. Like, I think it's a big headline if it was going the other direction.
oh, sure. Yeah, but humans are dirty. So they're infecting all up in their Virginia. So Saul L. Bean over at The Hill, which is ironic because hiking. Anyway, the virus has been
Yes, it
found.
is.
Oh my gosh, that took forever for you to respond to that. Anyway, the virus is indifferent to whether it hosts walks on 2 legs or 4. Its primary objective is survival. Anything can get infected with COVID-19? I thought there were only certain things.
Oh, I think we knew a lot of things could because wasn't there a discussion about people being safe around their pets, like not transmitting it or obtaining it from their pets,
Yeah,
etc.?
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, if you have it and your cat's climbing all over you, then your cat's a vector for it, right? but I thought that certain animals just don't get it. Anyway, for example, researchers found 2 mice on the same day with identical variants of COVID-19. Well, somebody was playing around with the mice. Anyway, they caught it from the same human or each other. That's more likely. Where
Okay,
there's
yeah.
one. Yeah. So the method of infection seems to be discarded food from infected hikers.
Yeah, like if a person touches the food or eats the food and then leaves scraps. Okay, that does make some sense. And that kind of makes sense with some of these species, although not the red bat.
Hey, you never know. Well, a red bat could come down and get it from something else.
I guess, but I could see things like the mice and the groundhogs, and we know the trash pandas are are probably most susceptible, right? The
Trash
raccoons.
panda. Yeah. So for COVID-19, the goal is to spread in order to survive. So wear a mask when you're hiking. Actually, and this kind of drives home the point that people are carriers and they don't know it. So if you can hike and have COVID-19, you're a carrier.
Right, you're probably not showing symptoms because if you're too impeded, you're probably not able to do the hike.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over on the Marvel channel. The highest paid Olympians in Paris only play 2 sports. Quick, what are they?
Um, I was trying to think of something like lacrosse or something. I'm not sure.
The highest paid Olympians
Oh,
in
the
Paris.
highest paid. I was thinking of French, not highest paid for some reason. It's got to be like basketball and something.
The cumulative salaries of Team USA's basketball team alone totaled $405 million. Madeline Fitzgerald over in QZ.com put the article together. So what's the other one?
That's a good
NBA
question. Oh, it looks like it's a no, it's not that.
basketball and golf and their counterparts in lower profile sports is stark. Many athletes on the American women's water polo team, for example, were working multiple jobs to support their athletic careers until Captain Maggie Steffens publicly asked for financial support from or to the Olympics. Rapper Flavor Flav eventually stepped in to finance the American men's and women's team and signed a 5-year deal to elevate the visibility and excitement around water polo in the United States. Interesting.
We had a separate article about that in the July 28 episode.
Yep. So yeah, actually they kind of talk about it. Even superstars like gymnast Simone Biles make far less than their Olympic peers in more mainstream sports. Biles earned 7.1 million in 2023 primarily through endorsement deals according to a Forbes estimate. This makes her the 16th highest paid female athlete in the world, but it doesn't even approach the earnings of the richest athletes in Paris.
So, fact here, gymnastics is one of the original sports from the origin of the Olympics. The other two sports that are the highest paid were not.
Yep. Golf wasn't in the Greek Olympics? The
No.
hell you say?
Did it even exist as a sport at that point?
Probably not. Let's keep going. Next article's over in Non Sequitur News. Mass discovery of ancient Egyptian tombs reveals numerous gold artifacts. They've uncovered 60 mud brick tombs during an excavation in northern Egypt. The article is by Aristos Georgiou over at Newsweek.com. There is no deck statement, but among these findings, researchers uncovered a huge tomb containing burials of people who appear to have been in high social class. Inside, archaeologists found a collection of gold foil artifacts in a variety of different forms, such as those shaped like religious symbols or figures. There you go. They have a picture of it, so you can take a look at it. The Ptolemaic era began following Alexander the Great's conquest of Egypt, then controlled by the Persians in 332 BC. A Hellenistic polity known as the Ptolemaic Kingdom was subsequently established in 305 BC and ruled Egypt until 30 BC, when the region was conquered by the Romans.
I will never get used to BC time frames.
Yeah, it's like a Benjamin Button. So the settlement that existed in this location in ancient times was strategically significant, marking the southern frontier of the pharaonic Egypt. Um, Pretty interesting. So, but these are mud brick, mud brick, not megalithic
Not
structures.
ceramic or something, or oh, I see what you mean. I was talking about the items, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and the items, although they say gold and gold foil, it looks like there's some stonework as well. But these aren't megalithic structures. They're not massive. They're standard brick. And
So do we think they're later, like more modern than the stone?
well, they say that it's thought to date the late period, which lasted from 664 to 332 BC, so not too far back, about half the distance of most of the stuff that is considered megalithic, if I remember right, my Egyptian properly. Um, yeah, so it's kind of interesting, but now I want to know what those actually look like. There's 5 pictures in this link, but I don't follow knock on links, and it takes me over to Facebook, which I haven't been to in 10
That's
years.
a double
Yeah, let's keep going.
flag or whatever.
So, 250% increase in tiger numbers recorded in Thailand. It's great news for the endangered tiger, bad news for people going on walks. There's phenomenal news for the endangered tiger. There's been a 250% increase in tiger numbers in Thailand. I don't know. Let's see what they say about the numbers.
Maybe that's been because of the people going on walks.
Yeah, fast food. So, Wildlife Conservation Society put this article together for phys.org. Look at that.
That's beautiful as long as you're seeing it from a distance.
Kind of like an orange savanna. So, elsewhere throughout the region, tigers are still under enormous pressure from poachers as well as from the loss of the forested habitat. So, it's gone from 40 to 140, which doesn't sound like a lot, but a simple recovery, 250% is pretty amazing.
It is, and as your numbers get tremendously reduced for animal populations, like at some point it gets to the point it can't recover.
Yeah, it's impossible to get to recover. Yeah. So you end up going towards extinction. Alongside the massive effort to intensify anti-poaching patrols, WCS and the Thai government worked for 2 decades to monitor its effects, critical to understanding if it was turning the tide. The team began work in 2004, 20 years later, setting out hundreds of cameras to capture images of tigers because each tiger has a unique stripe pattern. Interesting. Why wouldn't it? Scientists can identify each individual and track individuals' fates and population trends as they change over time. Pretty cool. Yay. Let's keep going.
This is really good news, and it's nice to see because we see a lot of it the other direction.
That's what we should be streaming now. Really good news. That's it. Just nothing but positive news.
That sounds good, but I don't know if we'd have enough articles sometimes.
Yeah. You got to do it once a week. So the next article is over in Prime Glass, how a new U.S. art fair nearly sold out without any money changing hands. By signing an inventive contract, visitors to a new fair can take home pieces of art at no charge while artists are allowed to keep rights on the work. The article,
Interesting. Is it like a lease of some kind?
yeah, I guess it's like a perpetual loan, but people don't lose their rights, by the way. Even as an artist, if it sells to somebody, then they're the rightful owner of it. But if you want to, you could go to court and sue to get it back, and you pay the market rate, whatever it might be.
Right. I mean, we've seen some other efforts with
Odd.
murals and other things.
Yeah, kind of odd, huh? What the heck? There's something going on again. Yeah, I'll focus. I'm sorry. Anyway, um, we've been having some questionable stuff going on in the stream today. Annie Irish over at the artnewspaper.com put the article together. The brainchild of artists, it is the brainchild of artists Jennifer Dalton and William Pauhida, or Poeta. The fair allows visitors to take home one available work per day for free with a catch. Works were transferred to the fair to visitors with a contract that puts the pieces on a 5-year vesting schedule. After that time has passed, the work will be owned by the person who took it home. But until then, the contract allows the artists rights to their work, and that they usually have after an art fair, including the ability to sell the work, borrow it for an exhibition, and under certain scenarios, even request for its return. So after 5 years, they can keep it. But during the 5 years, they can go, hey, I'd like to borrow it so that I can show it. And they have to avail it.
Right. So, yeah, I can't think of an equivalent situation.
In the case of another interested buyer, the contract gives the borrower right of first refusal and a prorated discount on the retail price set by the artist based on the vesting schedule. If the person who took the work home from the Zero Art Fair decides to sell the work after it comes into their possession, the contract also states the artist will receive 50% of the sale price of the first sale and 10% royalties in perpetuity on subsequent resales. That, by the way, is absolutely unenforceable. There's
I
no,
agree, because then it's like other parties that aren't even
yeah, they're
privy
not
to
party
those
to the
terms.
original sale. So unless the contract is handed to them and everybody subsequently agrees to all of it, yeah. So the contract stipulates the owner of the work will inform the artist. So, and
I mean, it's interesting because it gives access to the work that could just be sitting somewhere, right? If it was unsold. On the other hand, it seems like the borrower might have less ability to sell the work, but maybe if they're frequently taking it out for art fairs or other things, maybe that's a non-issue.
yeah, it's like the Tesla contract where you're not allowed to sell it for the
Right.
first year. Yeah. So we can't be certain that no one will cheat and try to sell the work without payment to the artist, but the contract is legally enforceable, and we are optimistic that the people will behave well and continue the spirit of the generosity of the project. The contract itself releases Zero Art Fair and its organizers from any claims or liabilities related to enforcing the contract. So it's toothless. Yeah. So somebody's going to abuse it, I'm sure. So the unique
I
contract
do like
allows,
the idea of it, though.
yeah, I love the idea of it, but I hope nobody, breaks it. I think it would suck. Overall response was incredibly positive. We heard from other artists about how the whole project made them think about their careers, the value of their art, their own relationship to the market and its pressures. The painter Jane Fine, who has participated in various fairs, including the Armory Show in New York, noted how her interactions with the person who obtained her artwork was different from her usual experiences with collectors. So it's very atypical. It's very rare to be contacted directly by a new collector. So interesting. I mean, it seems like it would be a grand idea to get your art distributed, but you're not getting paid, and these people still need to get paid.
Where I think it really works for the artists is if you get it in the hands of somebody with significant resources and they start, for instance, commissioning work, or like you kind of establish, I think this is hinting at that, where you start establishing a relationship with the artist.
Yeah, and or gushing about the artist, and it's a form of marketing that gets them some activity. Uh, I just giving the art away is good if you're a beginning artist and you're trying to get somebody to pay attention to you, and so you just put the artwork out there. But yeah, some
But
art
it
that I've
does
seen is,
expand the access to art, so it's good on that side. But for the artist, I have a hard time seeing the benefit of it.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sure that they see some benefit, but yeah, we don't see it. Let's keep going. Next article is over in Four Wheel Tech. A passenger sues JetBlue, claiming that her stage 4 cancer returned after she wasn't allowed to fly with her French bulldog.
I mean, we know people have a lot of complaints about flying, but I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah. Um, I guess treatment centers really hate French bulldogs because it cures them. California woman is suing
You
JetBlue
know, if it
claiming.
was only up to French bulldogs to cure cancer, I'm sure everybody would own one.
Yep, time to get one just in case. A California woman is suing JetBlue, claiming the airline's refusal to allow her emotional support dog to accompany her last year led to a resurgence in her stage 4 cancer. According to the lawsuit, the woman and her husband, okay, claimed JetBlue also violated the Americans with Disabilities Act when the crew member kicked her dog off, or maybe her and her dog off. Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com put the article together. JetBlue didn't want her sitting in first class with her dog. Pierre? It's not Pierre, it's just Pierre.
Looks like pure, right?
So they kicked him off the flight, forcing them to scramble to find a new way home. What was so wrong with the dog that?
That's what I'm not quite getting. I mean, are pets allowed in first class? Like, is there some restriction that they're only allowed in the main cabin or something?
Well, that's pretty douchey elitism.
I agree. I haven't heard of that. I'm just trying to figure out what the issue is here.
While their outbound flight went off without a hitch, when they attempted to board their return flight, they were told the only way Pierre would be allowed is if they were moved to the main cabin. Okay. So Oksana agreed, but later a flight attendant asked her to put Pierre in a much smaller bag. When he didn't fit, the plane returned to the gate and they were forced to find a new flight.
Okay, well, this has another level. She was traveling apparently to go for checkups and stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's just,
For treatment at a particular
yeah,
place.
but this is really outrageous. I mean, really, could the dog have a little larger bag than normal?
It's weird. Why would they do that? So yeah, I mean, if it's a registered service animal, well, and I don't even know about that anymore, because I know in certain places you're not even allowed to ask if it's a service animal. So in the lawsuit, they said that they experienced an unexplainable level of cruel humiliation and ridicule. I would probably feel a little bit irritated by this. The lawsuit further claims that although a stage 4 cancer patient had been in remission prior to the events described herein above. Wow, I love that legal word. Those events caused Ms. Kirichenko an extreme amount of stress, and upon arrival home, she checked into the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Their test results that the blood level had risen to 0.59. Several tests were 0. So the stress.
Right, but good luck determining whether it's the stress from the airplane. The thing that is most interesting to me is that they point out that they flew with the animal without issues. So that suggests to me that the same airline allowed it. Yes, and we don't know if this was actually a service dog or not, but they apparently allowed it on one flight and not on another, and that is going to be a problem, I think, for the airline.
So two issues is they don't know if it was actually a service animal. And JetBlue's website clearly states that dogs are not allowed in first class.
Which is interesting. And I wonder it, so then they allow it on one though. See, so they undermine their own policy.
Was she
We
in first
assume it's
class?
JetBlue. I doubt the person went on two legs on different class, but it's possible.
Kind of interesting. All right, let's keep going. So SoCalGas suddenly shuts down areas gas service over land movement. A California community is set to lose its natural gas service today, and this is actually July 28th, 29th. The article was thrown into non sequitur news, but it's sourced from Newsweek.com. Jess Thompson is the author. Due to worsening land movement, SoCalGas has determined that it's unsafe to continue providing natural gas service in your community. Unfortunately, your natural gas service will be discontinued effective Monday, July 29th at approximately 9 a.m.
If this is your only power source, that's kind of a problem. Is this indefinitely?
Yeah, my understanding of this. So, gas service to 135 homes in the Portuguese Bend area of Rancho Palos Verdes, situated on the coastal outskirts of Los Angeles, will end at 9 a.m. And that's because this whole section is basically sliding away. I've watched a couple of videos about this, some news reports. It says recent land movement in the area is thought to be the result of proximity to a complex of ancient landslides accelerated by heavy rainfall during the winter, resulting in surface water percolating into the ground and lubricating the bentonite soil condition. Basically, it's sliding away from each other. And some people actually
Okay.
have to use ropes to climb up to get to their house.
I didn't know this was the same area. We've seen some videos about that on YouTube.
Yeah,
And we
so
probably had another article in Hometown about
yeah,
that.
yep. Yeah, it's pretty rough. They say no leaks have been detected in the Portuguese Bend area. The city of Rancho Palos Verdes said in a statement. But yeah, they need to shut it down because if there's any, you don't want to wait until there's an explosion to go, oh, because it could be catastrophic depending on where the break is. If it ignites, it can run the length, you know?
Right, it could take out like an entire neighborhood or something.
Yeah. And that's happened actually in the past. Things have like blown up underground and taken out large areas. All right. Last article for today's episode. July 29th episode. Slowly we go through time. $5,000 exoskeleton pants promise to make you a better hiker. I say that the Arc'teryx Mogo hiking pants use braces and carbon fiber arms to take pressure off your legs when climbing stairs or mountains, making you completely forget what the definition of hiking is.
Well, right. I wonder if you're expending any calories. Are you getting any exercise?
Wow. So Kyle Barr put the article together for Gizmodo.com. I don't think this is the first time that they've done a demonstration of exo armor. I swear one of their other reporters talked about this kind of stuff, where she was able to run faster up a hill. That's a different person, but anyway, Arc'teryx Mogo hiking pants.
Does that mean you're going more,
Yep.
like faster?
Oh, Mogo is short for mountain goat. In a joint effort with established outdoor apparel maker Arc'teryx and the startup Skip. Remember Samsung's exoskeleton pants concept? Well, these are like that, except no, I didn't even realize those existed. Though Skip, it says SKP, not SKIP, later in the article. Okay. Anyway, and Arc'teryx's first commercial product covers up all of those glaring metal bits with an already pricey pair of designer hiking pants. The Mogo is supposed to push you 40% harder, according to the company. But all right, maybe you have 40% less mobility, and so you get these so that you can hike because you like hiking.
Right, with less stress on your legs.
Right. So at first you'd think the companies would market them as a literal leg up for aging hikers or those with leg issues who want to enjoy the pastime at a price, but no, they're instead described as range extenders to make proficient hikers better at what they already do. Skip says it has another related product designed to help people living with neurological conditions in the works. So those of you that have these ongoing neurological issues, you can wait.
Right. You're not the target audience here.
I mean,
Only the
we
super in shape super hikers
that's right.
are who we want.
They turn to their attorney and they go, "We can say that we know that they're not going anywhere, right? Right? I mean they have neurological disorders. So
No Go is that product.
God.
I'm sorry.
Just say it all out loud. So Skip's founders were originally from Google. Skip CEO Catherine Zealand of the New Zealand's told TechCrunch in late 2023. It
Not the
started
old
becoming
Zealands.
not from the old Zealands, but the Catherine Zealand from the Australian or the New Zealand's. Was originally a lead in Google's X projects, which included a few exoskeleton leg armatures, and these were mainly billed as tools to augment workers doing manual labor. Bloomberg reported that Zealand raised $6 million to spin Skip out of Google's parent company Alphabet. Wow. At the very least, the Mogo is not the priciest consumer-grade exoskeleton.
So this is neat. They're gonna have 1-day rentals for people. Um, Might be a neat way to try it out instead of just buying them because it's several $1,000s.
Yeah, $5,000. $4,500 if you move fast. Oh, you need these. Never
But
mind.
you need these to get to the front of the line.
All right, folks. That's it for today's show. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Oh, right. Yeah. Hold on one second. So, because Stream Deck isn't talking to OBS, I'm doing it all manually, folks. See you in a little bit. I'm going to reset. We're going to do July 30th, 2024. I am Merwat. That is the sentient AI from the future. Oh, that is right there. And I used my power legs, go gadget legs. Can't say that. I'll probably get in trouble. Anyway, now we're back
Good
in
night,
July.
hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back soon for our July 30th episode.
See you soon. Bye. Boop.